Hello, I'm Natalie.
And I'm Sophie.
Following our last video on phonotactics, we've had a request to talk about the differences between Italian and English. So obviously there's a lot that we could mention, but today we're just going to focus on 3 key facts. So first of all, the syllable structure. Something that's very common in Italian speech is the syllable structure consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel. That means that many words in Italy end with a vowel, which means that for them it may seem much more natural to end a word with a vowel rather than a consonant. Now, depending on what area of Italy someone is from, they may be more prone to adding a vowel at the end of a consonant final word when they're speaking English. So, for example, the word big may be pronounced as big, or large may be pronounced as large.
Yes, and the second point that we wanted to raise here was words starting with consonant clusters, S clusters, in English. So these are specifically S clusters that contain N, M, or L. So that's sn, sm, or sl. In English, the S in these clusters will always be pronounced as a S. So for example, snail, small, slug. So in Italian, these sound clusters, so these S clusters that have SN, SM, and SL, instead of being pronounced as S, the S will be voiced and pronounced as a Z. So you'll have words like snobismo, slegare, smodato. So they don't pronounce it as an S, but as a Z. And this also means that when they speak English, often you'll find that Italians are tempted to voice the S sound to make it a Z rather than an S. So rather than saying small, they might say small.
So remember, S before M, N, or L is pronounced S, not Z. So lastly, just comparing the vowel systems in Italian and English, there are 2 vowels that the Italians don't have. They don't have the short I vowel, and they don't have the unstressed schwa or which we use a lot. It's the most common vowel sound in English. So let's take the sentence, I live in Italy. If an Italian pronounces this, they'll be tempted to turn the I into an E. So we have that in 3 places in the sentences. I live in Italy. So they may produce this as an I live in Italy. Again, the A in Italy is unstressed. So normally we would turn this into a schwa. So it would be almost inaudible. So it would be Italy. Whereas an Italian might say Italy. So let's compare the 2. I live in Italy and I live in Italy.
So those specific sounds, although they are common to speakers of Italian, you will also find them in speakers of many languages. And this is why we're going to be doing a separate video in a bit more detail about the short I versus the long E sound in English.
So watch this space.
Accentology.